Good morning. We still have a lot of people coming in the chat. Rochelle, I like that paint color on your walls. It looks like what I just did my office in again.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's dark and moody and I love it.
Is it Sherwin-Williams? Is it Naval?
I honestly can't remember. I did it so many years ago.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
you did it before the Navy trend was cool.
Yeah. Thanks,
Awesome.
Jason.
I love it. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Jeff. Okay, good morning. Good morning. All right, guys, I'm going to get started. I have a special guest who I am so thankful that she hopped on to share today. Blake, I was thinking back and I feel like I'm pretty sure I've known you for almost 30 years.
I know. I was trying to ask Ashley, I'm like, we met Dana like right in elementary school. So
Yes, I know. It's been a really long time. It's crazy when you can when you start to say 30 years of no, I'm like, man, that's old.
that's a long
A
time.
long time. I know, it's crazy. And just was grateful for you to come on today. I believe that you have such a good story, and it's something that's definitely near and dear to my heart. And so I wanted you to just share a little bit. I have some questions to ask you. Share whatever you want. Don't share what you want. Or don't want to, and then and with the intention of just being able to really help people with their mindset, because I believe that you have to have one of the strongest mindsets of anybody that I know.
Thanks.
Well, so maybe
Yeah.
give them a little bit of background first, and then
Okay.
you can kind of share some of your story.
Sure. So I live in Owensboro, Kentucky now. Have been married to my husband for 16 years, and we have three awesome kiddos, a boy that's 13 and two girls, 11 and 8. And I currently work at German American Bank as a mortgage loan originator. So things are busy and wonderful. We're loving the market right now. So
Crazy,
yes.
wonderful, but crazy.
Yes, it's nonstop. So but I can kind of, you tell me, Dana, I can kind of go into why I'm here and a little bit about my
Yeah,
story.
I would love for you to share just a little bit of your story and whatever you feel comfortable sharing, because I think it will make a huge impact on others. And I personally watched your testimony on YouTube. I don't expect for you to have to go into that detail, but just whatever parts you want to share, because I really believe I've sent that to a lot of people.
Oh,
And so I think it's great for them to hear your story, because it's a great
thank
story.
you. So on the topic of mindset, 4 years ago, almost this time exactly, I had just finished my second inpatient treatment for alcohol addiction, and came home, relapsed again after a second inpatient stay, and just was at the very lowest point of my life. Had some trips to the ER, thoughts of suicide. I mean, when you're talking hopeless and just bottom of the barrel, that's where I was. I could not understand how I could be successful in other parts of my life, but I could not get a grasp on the part of me, the addiction part of me. And I look back now, and after a lot of work that I've done over the last 4 years, I can see where my mindset for 36 years had led me to that place. That's why I started drinking at an early age, was to quiet that mindset, that voice in my head that was telling me you're not worthy, your past defines you, look at everything you've done wrong. And that voice is strong. It's really strong. Oh, it's strong in me. So it's not something, mindset is not something, a positive mindset is not something I come by easily. But through this time, and as low as it got, thankfully, through the grace of God, on March 19th of this year, I'll have 4 years sober. And I have literally not quit working on myself since March 19th of 2017. I have dug in and done some major work that we can talk about, but a lot of it has everything to do with mindset.
Yeah. Would you say, Blake, that you came from a bad childhood or a great childhood?
Yes, no, I wouldn't say it was a bad by any means
Right.
at all. It had elements that I'm sure we all wish we could have changed. Um, but it was good. From the outside looking in, it was your perfect all-American family. So yeah, I can't sit there and blame anything on my parents. I mean, it was an internal tape that played in my head from a very young age.
Yeah. So, what would you say are some of the biggest things that you've learned over the last 4 years or that you've implemented that have affected your mindset? And I also want you to touch on your habits because I watch you with your habit tracker and I'm like, impressed. You make me like be better. Actually, that's my word of the year this year is habits because I'm like, man, I like Blake is good with her habits.
Well, I think after I, got through the muck, got through, sitting in the pain and figuring out, putting those pieces together of why I was doing the things I was doing, then I was able to really implement some good positive changes in my life. Exercise, oh my gosh, that helped me tremendously. Moving my body was probably one of the best forms of therapy that I gave myself and still do to this day. It's huge for me. Um,
How have you changed? Did you care to share just how you've changed health wise physically since then?
oh gosh, yeah. If I could show you a picture of before and after of 4 years, it's literally unrecognizable. I mean, not only just weight loss, 40 pound weight loss, but just there was no light in my eyes, there was no glow in my face. It makes me sad to look back. I need to sometimes look back and just remember, but I mean, full body transformation.
Yeah, yeah. You look great. I mean, that's why I wanted you to share that because I'm like, oh my gosh, you look so good. Uh,
Oh,
so what have been some of the biggest things when it comes to working on your mindset? Like what advice would you give them? Are you reading books? Are you having mentors? Are you having coaches? Like what are the things?
yes, and I think especially in the past year, I have focused on positivity. I watch scrolling through social media a ton. I don't allow myself to watch much news. I try to keep up with current events, but at the same time, I am an anxious person, and that just it doesn't do well for me.
Yeah.
I have implemented this habit tracker. So, as someone who fought addiction for so many years, obviously moderation is not a friend of mine. It's something that I have to practice daily through work, through working out. If I was going to work out, I would decide I was going to run 6 miles a day or do absolutely nothing. Same with work. It was either my therapist once told me, he said, I want to introduce you to the number five. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, because you only know a one and you only know a 10. So here's a five. And you can be in that middle ground and still be doing a good job. So a thing that I'm focusing on right now is small daily actions lead to massive results.
Love that.
So I have a little daily habit tracker. And this has changed my life. And I know it sounds silly, but this has given me so much freedom because I sat down and talked to myself and I said, okay, these are easy things. I'm talking drink my 60 ounces of water, take my vitamins, do 20 minutes of moving my body a day, read 10 pages in a book, do my devotion, do my prayer, eat gluten free and dairy. That's something I'm choosing to do. Get my 10,000 steps in. I don't, no eating out today. I know getting on the scale today. So it's very personal things that are little but obtainable to me. And I thought, if I do these things, there's no way I'm not going to see the results at the end of the day. So
Where'd you
this
get
is
that sheet?
actually I downloaded I Googled it. I have,
Okay,
it's not
perfect.
fancy. I have the PDF I can share with you
Okay.
to send out, but I just Googled it and printed it out.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll share that. I want that for myself, and I see in the chat other people want it too. So yes, we'll get that out. That's awesome.
So it's just been freeing to me because I don't have to focus on these extraordinary measurements, but I know they're just obtainable goals. And if I consistency is key, basically.
Yeah.
So the tracker has been huge for me, but I don't stop learning. I'm constantly reading books. I'm constantly listening to podcasts, constantly listening to sermons, anything I can get my hands on. Um, that's what I'm doing.
Were you like that before, or have you adopted that mindset afterwards? Meaning, I guess what I'm saying is, can someone change if they don't have that mindset right now, or do you feel like people are born learning based?
No, I don't. For me, I wasn't learning based at all, especially during my adult life and during my addiction. I mean, I can remember as a child liking to read and stuff, but this is absolutely a new practice. So for people who think that they can't change, showing up every day and doing it is honestly the best practice you can have.
Yeah. Can you think of, or would you share any of your most recent favorite books you read, or what pastors or churches you follow, or what podcast? I saw that you posted one recently, The Science of Success, and I loved that. So I actually took a screenshot because I have not heard that or read that.
Yes. Lately, so Brene Brown is so near and dear to my heart. And I read her book, Daring Greatly,
Yeah.
about shame.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody else has ever read that, but man, it was like she was sitting in my house for the last, 15 years talking directly to me. That was a life-changing book for me.
Yeah.
Um, Glennon Untamed was another Glennon Doyle. Um, and you introduced me to John Maxwell.
Yeah. Love it. He's the best.
Yes.
His new
Yes.
book dropped today, by the way. Change Your World is officially available today on Amazon, just FYI. Yeah,
Awesome.
love that. Yeah.
One thing that we're doing is that I think it's amazing in Owensboro that a friend of mine, Mary Catherine, has brought the Woman's School to Owensboro. It's led by January Donovan,
Hmm.
and it's a 26-week course that women are taking, and it is just life changing. She talks about the 8 arenas of your life, and how you can be successful in maybe the arena of wealth and contribution, but you might be struggling with intimacy and friendship. And so she talks about how to be a whole person with those eight arenas in your life, and that's
I've never
been
heard of that.
awesome.
That's
Yes.
great. I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so next question. On the days, so Dawn, Dawn's asking who was that? It's called the Woman's School. Is that right, Blake?
Mhm.
Okay.
January Donovan.
January Donovan. Okay, perfect. So on the day, okay, so we all have days where we have our mind is really great, and then we have days where it's not so great. What do you do to stay in a good mindset on the days that you are struggling?
So funny that you asked. Yesterday was a day, and I believe in this wholeheartedly because I was speaking today. So whether I call it, you know, death, Satan or whatever, he knew that I was coming on to speak today, and he was gonna just give me all my trials and tribulations yesterday. And it was just from the minute I woke up, just these thoughts kept on creeping in my head. And I even looked at my husband last night and I said, after a day like today, how do I get on tomorrow and talk about a positive mindset? And he started laughing and he said, because you're aware, because you're self-aware, and I give myself grace today. I give myself permission to say, you know what, today wasn't my best day. I'm going to go to bed at 8:30 and I'm going to call it a day, and it's going to be fine, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be better.
Yeah.
But it's a constant talking to myself of recalibrating my thoughts. I mean, that's not ingrained in me. I have those thoughts all the time and I think, stop, That's not who you are. You
Mhm.
know, recalibrate and turn those thoughts around. And I do that many times a day.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I don't love that you had that day yesterday, but and I love that you said that because I feel like we all have those days. Most definitely, no matter what your level of success is, or what you're struggling with, or what's happening, what's going on, whether you've lost a loved one or you've been sick with COVID and you're down, or whatever, whatever all those things are. We all have them. Do you have are okay? Let me ask this a better way. Have people been a good support system to you, or like the resources been a good support system to you, or both? Meaning coaches, mentors, friends, family, or do you really dive into like the resources where you personally can do that stuff?
I think both. The resources have been huge for me. People, I've always loved connecting with people. I will say though, when you get into a growth mindset, you will find out, or I have found out, that sometimes it's lonely.
Yeah.
I told my husband this the other day, you know, when you stop feeding into gossip and you stop talking about people, and, you know, I don't go out and party anymore. I love to be social, but you know, it's funny how people really don't necessarily want to interact with you. And I found out there's only a handful of, you know, people that I want to be able to share my dreams and my hopes and my goals with people now in this stage of life. And it is different. You find out that sometimes it does get a little lonelier before it gets better.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And actually, Michelle just, oh my gosh, yeah, the chat is blowing up. Yeah, the Michelle said the same thing. You outgrow people. I've definitely outgrown people. I don't know if Troy Marsh is on today, but he and I've had this conversation so many times. The more you grow, either into leadership or just into your, the deeper you get into your spiritual life, if you're a person of faith, or all of those things, seems like your circle is different. It's hard to
Yes.
explain, but it definitely is. And I was that was another one of my questions was, has your circle changed over the last 4 or 5 years? And I'm sure it has.
Yes, it has. It's probably gotten smaller. You know, and I struggle with vulnerability big time. And so that's something I'm working on too, is just being authentic and being able to express my feelings better with people so that I can have that deeper connection. Because a lot of times the vulnerability to me when I was growing up was weakness. I was told I was too emotional, I was too sensitive, so, you know, I learned to just keep it tight, not let anybody know my feelings, and everything was always okay. And so I'm working on sharing that more.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Don said be willing to forgive yourself and others. And I think that's a big part of it too.
Yes.
Um, so question, actually on the addiction side, what advice would you give to someone who maybe has a friend and or family member going through that? What advice would you give the person with the family member or the friend?
Gosh, it is so hard. I have people call me all the time, you know, asking advice, and my heart goes out to them. Um, I would, you know, find resources, find, you know, places that they're able to call, or doctors or therapists. You know, but unfortunately, there's only so much you can do until that family member or friend is ready to help themselves. I know my family worked for years, and until something clicked in me that was ready, you know, I wasn't able to get help. But I think resources are huge, and I'm a big proponent of recovery can look very different for everybody. I'm not a pigeonhole if you have to go to AA meeting. I didn't, you know, I did exercise and went to therapy and went to yoga and meditated. And so there's all different pathways of recovery for all different people. Not one pathway is right or wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that you said that because um I think that's interesting because I think everybody just thinks that you go to rehab, you go to AA or NA and then you're good, you know.
Yes. I struggle now. I mean, do I know that I can never drink again for myself? Yes, but I don't know that I necessarily always have to go around shouting the label of I'm an alcoholic. Like, I'm so much more than that. You know, yes, I am, but I'm also, you know, a great wife and a leader and a motivator, and I'm other things. So I struggle with that a little bit of having to label myself.
Yeah, a great mom, all kinds of things. Yeah, that was actually, I'll just be honest. I remember at one time I told my friend, I never understood why people went to AA and said, "Hi, my name is whatever, and I'm an alcoholic," or "Hi, my name's Dana, and I'm a this," because that's not really who you are. That's not who defines you. And I didn't like that I mean, I'm not passing judgment. I'm just personally, I always thought that was a little different because I'm like, no, you're a child of God. You're all these other great things. So I don't know. I had mixed emotions on that.
Yes, yes, I feel the same way.
Yeah. Okay. So any last just tips or pieces of advice that you would give them on mindset? Wow, we had a great turnout today. We have a lot of people watching, and I know that this is going to touch and help at least one, hopefully more than one of you. So anything else you would want to share or leave them with?
I had written down some quotes that I loved, and one of my very favorite quotes is, "You will never be criticized by someone who is doing more than you. You
Love-
will only be criticized by someone doing less." And if
Oh,
I
I
think
love
that,
that.
yeah, in my life, that is so true. The people, the naysayers, the haters, the
Yep.
people that gossiped about you, they weren't doing more than you. They're jealous that you were trying to better your life.
Yep. Love that. Do you have any other quotes? I'm a big quote person.
No, I mean, John Maxwell, obviously,
Yep.
probably everything. You're either a plus person or you're a minus person. You're either adding value or subtracting it.
Yep.
And I used to be very insecure about walking away from conversations and thinking I was too much. And now I'm like, you know what? Like, the world needs happiness. The world needs a light. And if that's
Mhm.
too much, that's okay. I'm going to keep on shining my light and keep on being a positive person.
Yeah, I love that. One of my favorite quotes is, "Don't adapt to the energy in the room, be the energy in the room." And
Yes.
I think that applies to what you just said because I think sometimes, uh, I don't know. And I think back and I think around times where I've just had a circle of negativity, and I feel like it kind of maybe rubbed off. It can rub off on you. You don't even realize the people that are around you. And yesterday I did a leadership academy, and I was just thinking the circle. I mean, now don't get me wrong, I still have some of the same friends I've had since the fourth grade. And the new circle that I have professionally and also friend wise over the last 5 years is so drastically different. And it makes such a difference in your
Yes.
life. It's
Yes.
crazy.
I
Um,
have some near and dear friends that I've been friends with forever, and they are so, I couldn't live life without them. But I also have chose to surround myself with positivity. I'm an empath, so like I feel everything.
yeah. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, hold on. I think somebody's trying to share their screen. Okay, there we go. When you say you're an empath, what does that mean?
For me, it's that I can feel the energy in the room. When I walk in, I can feel, I know. I don't know if they're sharing something.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, let's see. Hold on. How do I stop? Continue. Let's see. Hold on. Oh no, wait, now it's sharing my screen. I
I
don't know
think
how
it's
to
your
do
phone,
that.
Dana.
What'd you say, Dawn?
There we go.
I
Oh,
think it's your phone trying to jump in.
I think it was actually my mom's phone, to be honest, because I saw her backdrop. My nephew. Sorry. Okay, Blake.
You're
I know she
fine.
wanted to be on to hear you today, so she was like, "Send me the Zoom. I want to see
Oh,
Blake."
um,
So okay, tell me what that means. You feel the energy?
I do. I feel energy from people. So when I walk in a room, I can pick up on their energy. And if I'm not careful, I can take that into my own energy. So, I've done everything from, energy healing to, a friend of mine's taught me how to build a wall around myself. So I keep the bad energy out, and I'm open to anything. If it works, if it's going to make me better and elevate me, I'll try it, I'll try anything.
I love that mindset. One of my friends just did Reiki, I think is
Mhm.
how you say it. And she says it completely changed her energy, like 100%. Just felt like there was, yeah, yeah. Oh, Stephanie's done it too. Okay, yeah, we'll have to get more info on that. So 2 people said they left their previous career because of negative energy.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do it to you too. So 2 comments really fast before we wrap up, I want to get your thoughts on. Tracy said it's not only the recovery, but the staying sober, also repairing the damaged relationships that were created during the addiction and eliminating those that don't want to see you succeed. Anything you would add or say about that?
You know, I am blessed. Like most people do want me to see me succeed. You know,
Mhm.
yes, someone was talking about self-awareness the other day, and they said 95% of people think that they are self-aware, but only 10 to 15% really are.
Yep.
And they said you have an external and internal self-awareness. And I always thought people had a negative perception of me, and I found out that that wasn't the case. So I have a lot of supporters, but I have had to go back and heal those relationships and you know, make amends for the damage I caused.
Yeah. I think, yesterday we talked a little bit in this leadership academy that I taught about just influence. Dawn was there, and really it's crazy when you think about, sometimes we have them make a list of all the people that they influence and then the people that those people influence. And it's huge. You don't even understand the reach of the people that you influence on a daily basis, especially because of social media now. I mean, the power to influence people on Facebook or Instagram, whether you use it for the positive or for the negative, you
Yes.
have the choice. But our ability to influence is so strong, and that's why I loved. I don't even know. I guess maybe you posted or shared some. I don't know. It's been, well, whenever I sent you a message, probably been a year ago, that I watched your testimony, and I just like sat there and sobbed for like an hour. And I was like, oh my gosh. And immediately my first thought was, she's going to influence so many people, because you already have great influence. You always have. And I mean, I can remember being in the 4th grade. And so I know Blake because I went to school with her younger sister. And so I could remember just thinking like, oh my gosh, I just want to be like Blake. She's so fun and she's so pretty and she just has all the things and her energy's so good. And so I remember when I watched your testimony, and I had no idea your story, no idea. Like I just never knew. And I thought, oh my gosh, God is going to use her to change and influence so many people, because you have the influence and you can use it for the negative or you can use it for the positive.
Yes, I said if that can help one person, then my story was worth it. And I truly believe that. Like, and I am so thankful for the struggle I went through, because I would never be the person I am today without that.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I appreciate you sharing and being on so much. I know it was
Thank
kind of, I just
you.
messaged her. I was like, will you speak on whatever? I just wanted you guys to hear her so bad. How can they find you and or like follow you, or your email, or if just anybody wanted to get in touch with you, how would they find you?
Yeah, on Facebook, it's under, I think, Blake Smith Templeton. And then I also have a page called Mindset. What is it? Oh, this is terrible.
It's okay. Look it up and share it with us so we can share it with everybody.
Okay. Makeup, Mindset, and More with Blake is
Okay.
my Facebook page.
Love it.
And you know, my email is Blake Templeton 80@gmail.com.
Awesome.
And if there's anybody I can ever help, or any questions, or if you do have a family member struggling, or you're struggling yourself, like I have resources in Lexington, Louisville, all over Kentucky, and I'd love to help anybody I can.
Awesome. Well, I know the chat, this has probably been the most talkative chat ever. So you definitely, you definitely made a difference today. So you'll have to go and read it real quick, but thank you so much for being on and for sharing. And I
Thank
just
you guys.
adore
I was
you.
a nervous wreck, so I'm glad it went well.
You were awesome. You were awesome. So thank you so much. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you
being on.
all.
I hope that this blessed you guys and you can share it with somebody else, and go make it a great rest of your week.
Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
Blake. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.